Well, welcome. I want to thank you all for the many phone calls and emails we've been getting of this job opportunity we've been offering everybody. And it's getting so much that we're having to send this video out to pre-qualify a lot of you, because some of you are not quite ready for this position. And with the amount of calls we're getting, the time it's taken our managers to answer a lot of the generic questions, I think I try to knock them out here. And then if you're still interested, then shoot us an email and we'd love to talk to you then. So let's get right to it. The first thing we get up here are questions like, is this a commission-only position? How much money will I make? Do I have to pay for my license? Do you send me leads? How do I get leads? How much is the commission? A lot of those are good questions, but I like to get to the spirit, the underlying thing where I think we're kind of running into a little bit of a situation here is, if you're at the point where you think that you're going to be spoon-fed and we're going to help you through here, and if it doesn't work out, it's somehow somebody else's fault, you're not really ready for this kind of position. So to make it very clear, you're going to be an entrepreneur. You have to have the self-motivation to get up and do it yourself. You got to work and then be able to do the hours you wish to work. Or in life, you're going to work and do the hours your boss tells you to work. So it depends where you're at in your growth and your, what's another word I'm looking for, where you're at with your confidence on who you are. Now, we don't have the time to take the ones who are still under the mindset of everything is fair, we're not being treated fairly. That's not the real world. So one of the questions on here will be training. The training you're going to get from me is like what you're hearing from right here. And if you find it offensive, well, the real world is very offensive. And I'm trying to be as easy as I can with you, but you can't keep using other people's for your failures and keep thinking, oh, it's because of this or it's because of that. At some point, you got to realize it's up to you. You'll see in my other videos where we break down into it and train you more to get your thinking correct. But another thing I can bring up while I'm thinking about it is, if you think this is the kind of job that because you get to work your own hours, it's a part-time job with full-time money, well, that's just not a reality. That's not a reality, and the idea like those hustles that usually they're life insurance people that say, hey, you can make 150 grand selling life insurance. It's just a lie to get all your names and numbers of all your friends and relatives, get what they can, and they fire you. That's not what this was created for. This was created for people that are tired of being stuck in the rut from 7 until 6, but have good work ethics. Because you're going to be working for Carpenter Insurance, and we need people we can trust that are out there not just to make the dollar, which you will make, but you got to do it with good integrity. And that is the main thing we're going to be looking for here. Do you have confidence and do you have integrity? Now, if you're semi-sure of yourself, then please keep listening, because that's what we need. But if you're like, oh, this is not for me, well then thanks for listening this far, and good luck on whatever endeavor you might be taking off of. So, if you're still here, let's go through these in a little bit higher level thought problem. Is this a commission-only position? Yes, it is. Any business owner anywhere in America is commission-only. The beauty about this one is that you get into it very inexpensively. In fact, we pay for everything the first 3 months, and then after that I think it was a couple $100, and it's like, you should be making a lot more than that. So the program is excellent if you work it. Remember, you're going to have to work. The dream about sitting on a yacht at 24 years old and driving on a Ferrari is not a reality. Everybody works. You work, you have to work. Mondays are good days because you got a job and you get to work. It's a good thing. But you got to figure out, are you able to manage yourself? If not, then somebody else will manage you. It's one or the other. Not that anyone is better than the other, but for this job, you got to be a self-managed type person, self-motivated. Which reminds me of, like, I hear things like, and this is part of the kind of training you'll get from me, you'll hear people They like, oh, God is first, and then my family, and then my job. Well, that's a bunch of bogus. God should be with you all the time, and your family's on your mind, but you can't just sit there and hug on your little ones without money. So you spend more time at your job than you do your family ever. But without the money, you need the money to get the stress off. And that's what we're here to do, is to give you peace of mind and get stress off your backs. We're here to actually, with this position, you actually make money. It's not a BS one like the other ones you hear on there. You just got to work the plan, and it works. Then you got the free time. So like if it is a birthday, or if you work extra in the evening and you want to take some time off to go to the beach, you can do all these things. But don't think about it as like a part-time, easy thing. Even though it's easy, it's extremely easy, you have to be self-motivated and not be kind of high-minded. You have to be humble. But that's on another story altogether. So commission only, every entrepreneur is commission only. You go to work for somebody, you get paid a certain amount an hour. The owner, he's on commission only. And if he's not making enough, you're the first to go. So this is an opportunity for you to be at the top and move on. So yes, it is commission only. Next question is, how much money will I make? All right, so let's get into that. The plan was that you'd be able to buy an average size home around here, car payment, went through this on another one, and then, you know, have some fun time necessities. We kind of structured it for that because you get bigger, you get busier. Now, we can be like a lot of salespeople and talk about our top producers that are writing 100, 120,000 in new business a month, but they're working 65, 70 hours. Kind of like I did. When I first started, I went through 3 or 4 chairs because I didn't know sitting in a chair would hurt your legs after a while. I kept thinking, what's wrong with this chair? And it was because I was doing so many quotes all night long. But it's kind of like something I learned from Zig Ziglar. It's like, to get your business off the ground, it's like a rocket. You got to give everything you got to get it off the ground. And once it gets up there, it doesn't take that much. You just kind of fine tune this and that. It's excellent. But in the beginning, you got to work. But the work is like visiting people, handing them things, being kind. Which reminds me of another thing. Here's another training thing about, are you going to get trained? For me, you get this kind of training, real life, from the other agents that'll be training you. Yeah, we're going to show you how to use the computer system. It's going to be kind of frustrating because we've got, you know, Hawk's office and management system. You got to sit there and go through it. Just remember, the screens will never change. So at first it'll be like, oh, what is all this on the screen? It's like that forever. So after a while, you only look like 6 or 7 things and go to the next screen. It's kind of simple. And then we'll have an auto quote system. We'll go through all our auto companies to find the most inexpensive one for you. You know, we got Quote Rush, which was another great one where you just send off the basic information for the homeowners, and it goes through our 20 companies, whatnot. But it has a predictor on there, so you pick just the 4 so you get it back quicker, because it'll tell you what's winning in the area. It's an excellent system. And then we have our system, the Hawksoft. That's kind of jumping ahead. The money is like the money. Let's get to the money. So basically, on average, we get 10%. Corporation gets 10%. So if you write, the goal is that you should be writing $30,000 a month in business. The average home in the city is $2,000, and out in the country or some places $1,000. So you can figure it out from there. So let's just use 50,000. If 50,000 you write, on average, the company gets $5,000. The first year, you get 80% of that, which means you would get $4,000. And then next year, you get 20% of that, which would be what are we talking about, 40,000? Forgot what we're talking about here. So let's just use 50 to make it. That's kind of a high number though, because the average is really 40,000. So 40,000 you write it, company gets 4,000, you get 3,200. The next year you get 800 without doing anything. And then you got autos, they renew quicker. And then the next year, if you write another 40, you get 3,200 plus the 8. And then it keeps compounding. The 20% just keeps compounding every year, every year. So the goal is that after 3 years, you know, on an average, it's between, you know, $1,200 and $1,800 renewal. So when you wake up that month, you know you have this. And that's for somebody who just works at kind of like they do a normal job, where they're kind of just, they're able to get out and go do things, but they're not like the ones, because there's always the ones that stand out. You know they are. They work, they bust their butt, and they're doing quotes all night long. And I've noticed it doesn't slow down. There's no such thing as like, I'm gonna make this much money and then relax. If you're making that much money now, you're internally driven and it's gonna keep going and going. I know, because I'm one of them. It just never ends. But I'm trying to work this whole system out, was mainly for single moms that can work their schedule so they can spend time with their family, and then it grew into dads, and then it turned into families, and now it's just gone crazy, and everybody's calling and texting. We're kind of limiting it to so many people per town because we don't want to overload it. So it's a beautiful thing. Which reminds me, is like, what do you decide to do to have your faith in? You got to really have it in yourself first. This is a more training thing, that you can do it. You can do it. It's not hard. So there's the commission. That's how much realistically you should be making. Do you have to pay for your own license? Yes, absolutely. It's like 100, 150 bucks. Do we send you leads? No-ish. How do I get leads? Okay, went through over the commission and how much is residual, went over that. Will you train me? Yeah, kind of went over that. All right, how do you get leads? Will we send you leads? Right now, see, we got agents here in the office, but we get so busy sometimes, it's like, oh, here's somebody in that town, let's just send them this one to do the quote and finalize it. But don't count on that. So when I got into this, I was thinking the same way. How do I get leads? Now that I'm on the other end, it's like, how do I not get leads? I mean, think about it. You're not a realtor where you're out there pounding the street with thousands of other realtors, wondering if somebody might sell a home, and then in reality get 1% of the commission. They talk about 6, but the broker takes half, then you gotta, you just get ripped off, unless you're selling high-end homes. The bottom line with this thing is everybody, the government and the banks have got you. You have to buy insurance. You have to. Look as you're sitting in traffic. Everybody there they're paying insurance for their car, they're paying insurance for their homeowners. They have everybody. Well, if you say everybody, then some lawyers say, oh, not this guy down here doing nothing. No, but you get it? It's everywhere. And then once they find out you're an agent, then they'll be like, hey, can you save me money? And you're like, well, let me see. And you run it through. Or like, for example, the other videos where I have you going out visiting realtors. Even if they don't have a new closing for you, you can always ask them, hey, do you have any listings here? I can run a quote for you so you can put them in your home. They're always open for that. And if you're new, it's great for you to learn the systems. So you're making trial and error, not on a live person, but on somebody who just has a house sitting there open. Another thing you can do is just do it on your own home. Practice on your neighbor's home. You go to Zillow and just get an address and just practice on the quote. While you have it there, mail it to them. Say, hey, here's the quote. I mean, it's everywhere. And then all of a sudden you start getting referrals and it just rolls in. So leads are huge. It's going back to the thought we had earlier about all these kind of questions. You have to do it. Let's make no mistake. We'll show you how to use the system. Will it be perfect? No. Will you run into frustration and not get answered quick enough? Yes. It's life. It's everywhere. And then the other one about when you go out, is it going to be scary? Yes, it'll be scary, especially if you're not used to it. But I don't know how many people I've seen that they don't know anything about insurance. I didn't know anything about insurance. Pretty much everybody I know except for one person knew nothing about insurance, and then when they got into it, they loved it. So I'm telling you, you're going to love it. You just have to stick with the course, read those 2 books I gave you, plus Proverbs is another great book to read, so it gets your mind thinking correctly. And then just go out there and love on people, and the business just rolls in. Have good integrity, love on people. Those are the 2 main things that we're looking for as we're hiring people. Okay, how will I get paid and when? All right, so this is how it works. When we get paid, you get paid on like the 1st and 15th, 15th and 30th. Same thing. So if you wrote business this month and it closed, and just to make it safe, I don't know the exact date, but let's say it's everything up until the 25th, that might be a lock-off date. The following month is when the money starts coming into the corporation, and it comes in everywhere between the 3rd and the 29th. So something you wrote comes in, then if it's before the 15th, then we'll put it on that check for you and do a direct deposit into your account. If it's after that, then we'll do it on the 30th. So there is that first 30-day lag per se, and then it starts rolling in and compounding like that. So that is how the pay works. And lastly, you need to have a phone app. You gotta have a phone with apps. And Intermedia is the one we use, and it's a phone app where you get to make phone calls and everything on our dime. But the great thing about it is people don't know it's your personal cell phone number. So it'll all be going through Carpenter Insurance, or if they call you and use your extension, it goes through Carpenter Insurance. That way, you know, a lot of people out there are kind of freaked out, like, oh, I don't want them calling my cell when I don't want them to. Well, this is great. It has an app. You can turn it on, turn it off. It's a beautiful thing. So that is what I have for now. If you have any more questions, let me know. Love to meet you. Look forward to having you come on board. You'll be talking probably more than likely with Laureen or Eileen. They're the ones kind of putting this together, but this is mainly Laureen will be the one deciding final number if she decides to let you on board or not. So I just wish you the best. I say God bless to you all, and don't be afraid that you don't know insurance. That's not what we're after here. We're after people that have integrity and confidence and a good smile on their face, because that's a big plus. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.